What is this love that won't relent? That's calling out with heaven's breath. Who's reaching wide to save our souls? Only you. Ooh. What is this grace that makes no sense? That we could never recompense. Who gives us all a second chance? Only you, only you, only you. There is no one like our God. There is no one like our God. There is no other God who can save. There is no one like our God. Who hung the stars upon the night and showed the sun how bright to shine. Who shaped the world within.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Truth Seeker. My name is David G. Lapointe, and this is a live show, March 20th, 2019. And I have two guests tonight, Joseph B. Visconti from West Hartford, an Emmy Award-winning producer and director, and also Matthew O'Brien. Matt is the Republican town chairman for the town of Coventry. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us, David.
Truth
Good to be
Seeker.
here, David.
Yes. And I just want to say that it's a pleasure to have both of these gentlemen on here in Winchester, Connecticut, because these are the two gentlemen that I went to Jerusalem, Israel with, and it was a great time. We spent over several days in Israel, and we had a wonderful time. We were there when the embassy opened up, and we saw all of the people who were coming from the United States to welcome the capital of Israel as it really has been intended since the history of the Jewish nation. So tonight we're going to talk about different things, all of the blunders and plunders that are going on in the state of Connecticut with the Democrats at the helm, starting with the governor, starting with the state legislature, the state senate, and the state House of Representatives. And that is why Joe Visconti and the Republican town chair from Coventry have come, because you're planning a big rally at the state capitol for the people and by the people. So tell us, Joe, about what's going to happen in April.
Thanks for having us on the show, first of all. The Libertarian Party of Connecticut has stepped up, and they are sponsoring a rally on April 13th from 10 o'clock till 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the state capitol. It's a Saturday. You can park on the streets for free in Hartford.
Won't get a ticket?
You won't get a ticket in Hartford on Saturdays.
Okay.
Parking is free. And the reason for the rally, there's another group going around gathering signatures, petition signatures, but you always want to have a group of people coming together. We're expecting 3,000 to 5,000 people like our normal rallies are. And the message for this rally is not just about tolls, a no toll rally, but more importantly, it's really about the basic of our republic, and that's that the governor lied running for office. He lied for votes. Never mind what he lied about, tolls or taxes.
So wait, Governor Ned Lamont said when he was running for governor that he would not put tolls
on cars.
On cars.
Now,
It's supposed to be trucks only.
It's supposed to be trucks only. Now, since Republicans or the other side lost, it's my own personal position, not the group's, that if they did do truck tolls, it looks more feasible today that they can. I'll tell you why. Yesterday, the federal courts throughout Rhode Island's truckers had sued the state of Rhode Island because they've been tolling trucks in Rhode Island.
So a federal court in Rhode Island throughout
the federal court of the nation, the truckers, and they told them go back to Rhode Island.
That they can't tax trucks.
No, that they can just tax trucks. The federal government wasn't going to defend the truckers Rhode Island has the ability to tax just trucks. And so the federal courts told the truckers to go back to your state and sue your state if you want. And the Supreme Court in your state will hear it, but we can't hear this. Why is this important? Ned Lamont has been saying since the election, well, there's a lawsuit now over in Rhode Island, and maybe I won't be able to just tax or toll trucks. And in my opinion, is we lost the election to the Democrats, and I would rather us, if you had to have any tolling on trucks, we could say we don't like it, but we're not here to overturn the results of an election. He wanted fair and square, and he said tolls on trucks. Now, we're going to all pay anyway. We'll pay when they deliver the phones, and they deliver the chairs, and when they deliver anything. Businesses deliver, trucks get tolled.
Businesses get taxed the hell already.
But still, we did not win that election. So my own personal position is if he wanted to do that, I'm not going to have a beef. He's keeping his word. He said he would do it. But to come to cars now and hit the middle class, people that live in the cities, people having a hard time.
So it's been reported in the Hartford Courant and the Waterbury Republican American that these 50 tolls that are going to be set up on I-84, I-95, and I-91 will encompass 60% of the monies that are coming into those 50 proposed toll stations or toll, cameras.
Worse than that.
And you guys know about those.
But worse than that, the out-of-state. Talk about the out-of-state collection.
I was going to say
they're going to Photoshop
what's the 60% you were
the 60% are going to be Connecticut residents paying
but
the.
We have a problem.
So it's only going to be 40% of out-of-staters and
listen
truckers.
to this detail. We have no enforcement ability to go after people out of state. In fact, we owe Rhode Island and Massachusetts $25 million, people in Connecticut. So how will we collect? This is important. How will we collect that 40%?
Hold on. They take pictures of the license
plate. It doesn't matter. We have no enforcement.
And they send you the
we
bill.
have no enforcement out of state.
Even if we did, it costs states like Massachusetts $1.50 just to go through the research, capture the plate that didn't have a tag on it, and then mail it out to those people.
If they pull you over,
hold on. They're creating in the state of Connecticut right now. If this passes the legislature, Matthew and Joe, what they're creating is more bureaucratic mumbo jumbo in the state of Connecticut.
It's almost $1 billion, David, to build the stations. To build the tolling, it's almost to build it $1 billion.
And then we get a couple of.
Well, wait a minute. As I understand it, the new model that's on the table is just like they have up in Massachusetts.
Oh yeah, $1 billion. No, for those, that's $1 billion, David. For those,
for ones you just drive through,
$1 billion.
Not even the housing for.
But to get back to your question, this is important. That 60% is a lie because we're not going to collect half of the out-of-staters.
Okay,
which means we're going to pay 80%.
So everybody in the state of Connecticut who's a state employee is getting a raise, including the governor and all of the bureaucrats. People talk about the deep state in Washington, D.C. We have a deep blue state of bureaucrats who are, in their own right, creating administrative law and saying, that you got to pay this.
Now, this is
you got to pay this.
Here's some news I mailed.
And then the legislature says they're washing their hands of it because they're not even going to. The rumor is that all these legislators are not even going to vote on it. They're going to let it.
Well,
let it slide. Right. And they're trying to find a way to do that. So, okay, if time runs out, if the clock runs out, this just passes.
Right,
this is exactly. Here's an interesting sample. In the corrections, where you served for 20 years, in corrections today, it came out that their budget was supposed to be less. Now it's $8 million and more because
it's going to be $35 million.
Or $35 million. I think it was $8 million just for the pensions, the pension portion. So the point is, they were supposed to come in on a budget under budget, and now it's
$35 million more.
So and that's probably.
Oh wait, and the real kicker is this: the inmate population has decreased.
Right.
So
everything we touch.
Here I am, a union guy. I was one of the union presidents for corrections, and I'm seeing everybody's getting pay raises, but we have a decrease in population. I mean, the same thing's going on here in Winchester and Winsted, Connecticut. Everyone's getting pay raises. It's not being reported in the press, and then they have the audacity to tell the taxpayers in this rinky-dinky town, and I'll say rinky-dinky town because we only have 8,900. When my wife and family moved to this town of Winsted, we had over 11,000 people, we the people, living here. Now we don't. Why? Can you tell us, Matthew, why people are leaving Coventry and leaving West Hartford and leaving
Take
all
over the
these
mic.
cities?
Go get them, because we're blabbermouths over here.
I'm a financial advisor by trade. I've met with a lot of clients recently out of Coventry, Tolland, towns in Tolland County. And I ask what their goals are. You know, what are your financial goals? What are you looking to do in the next 10, 20, 30 years? And, you know, one of the top goals recently has been, I want to get the heck out of Connecticut.
So they want to move.
They want to leave. You know, a lot of that is financial.
So Connecticut's going to become a socialist panacea of, like, utopia.
Yeah, there's so many productive people that we have, you know, a blessing of in our workforce in Connecticut right now.
Yankee ingenuity.
And those are the people, and those are the people that are leaving. We're losing
But the bigger problem is we're losing it to Boston and New York, which are higher taxed, but there's opportunity.
Yeah.
So it's not just because of our taxes, it's the stagnation, it's the collapse of the financial, insurance, the collapse of our industry in Connecticut. This is the problem. So what do they want to do? Let's toll everything, let's tax everything, let's make it so unappealing that business doesn't want to grow here.
Well, it looks like, Matthew, you got a haircut, I got a haircut, and the tax, I heard the governor say, Joe didn't get a haircut yet. No. But the thing is that, ladies and gentlemen, if you go to the beauty salon like my wife does and my daughters do, and if you go get a haircut like I got my spring cut this week, you're going to get taxed after April when this thing passes. And not only are you going to get taxed on haircuts, but they're going to put 15 cents more on the gas tax on top of it in the meantime to get there before they put the tolls in, this billion dollars that they're going to spend to build these tolls. So I learned something new tonight having you gentlemen on.
What about oil? They want to put oil. So a 275-gallon oil tank in your house will cost close to $50 in tax. That's a new proposition as of yesterday. They haven't passed it because they're all still in committee, but they're going to do it.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah, that's right.
At this point.
Because the Democrats have veto power proof the legislature. They won the election in November. The Republicans got their ass handed to them. And good men like Joe Visconti by the Republican Party were not taken. Joe didn't make it. He didn't make it for U.S. Senate because they put another guy in who didn't. He ran a lame campaign. And Mr. O'Brien was the treasurer of Joe's campaign for United States Senate against Christopher F. Murphy. And Christopher F. Murphy, and why I say F. Murphy, because he fails. He fails the line every time, just like Da Nang Dick. You know who Da Nang Dick is? Tell him, Joe.
Senator Blumenthal.
Yeah, Senator Blumenthal, another weasel. Yeah, he was in Vietnam just like I was. If you believe that, I'll sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. I never was in Vietnam. Like to go there someday, maybe.
You know, the core problem today for a lot of Connecticut residents is they realize it's over. And so our fear is that the people will give up and really run. That's one of the rallies is we're trying to pull people in.
So tell us about this rally.
There are some Democrats that are in my town right now today. Derek Slapp, who just got elected Senate for Beth Bay. Liberal town of West Hartford.
Derek what?
Derek Slapp. He just won election.
He's a Democrat?
And he's against tolls. He's against the tolls in my town of West Hartford.
He's a Democrat.
Democrat.
Yeah. Oh.
Frank Farraker out of Greenwich, the town chair.
Well, that's good. That's promising.
This is what I want to explain to you here. Listen for a second. You get some data here on the Democrats. They're split, and a lot of them in towns that are red or could go red. This is not a foregone conclusion that we're going to have tolls. And so we need to pull I've got Democrats coming to speak at our rally, believe it or not. Democrats, high-powered Democrats.
So let me just say this.
This is not over.
Right.
We may be able to
say that this is a rally that they took out the permit to be there by the Libertarian Party.
Correct.
They're paying for the ads that are going to be on the radio.
They're on right now.
Okay. And it's also a rally supported by Republicans like you, Matthew, on town committees and chairmans. It's also supported by the Independent Party.
And Democrats.
That I'm part of. And Democrats. Okay.
Because
So now we got we the people moving
this
here.
this is
Truly,
all
yeah.
happened.
Truly, we
this
the
all
people.
happened today, David.
I had it truly
There was
today.
like spiritual events occurring. I talked to two big Democrats. They're going to come to the rally to speak. They don't want it. They know, especially the Democrats, their party supposedly they claim that they're for the little guy, the working class. The tolls you won't be able to go to the beach with your kids. Never mind free parking at the state park. You can't get there. It'll cost you $16 round trip in a car. So you got the ice cream cones the kids don't get because they can't get to the beach.
They're being taxed.
Inner city people will never get out of town now.
They didn't-
Staycations will be the way everybody does
Staycations,
it.
yeah.
And because you won't be able to get there. And so it's hurting, never mind the commuting fees, just traveling around.
Business.
And business?
And business.
They're not even coming. They're running for the hills.
Look, I talked to a car dealer just this week, and he told me he said, Dave, you don't know. He's an independent guy. He said it's just heartbreaking how much he has to. It costs him to do business just with the state, then the city, to be in his lot that he sells, over 100 cars a year. But it's used cars, right? He says he wants to move. He wants to get out and go down south.
They're cumulative, and they're over a long period of time. And the country's moving forward.
Yeah.
Listen, 70% of the country in that latest poll agree, a good poll, that we are financially, the country's moving forward. But not here. Everywhere but Connecticut. Even Massachusetts, even New York, high tax, brutal tax states, they have activity. People can know they can find work, and even if it's high tax, they can at least pedal like a lab rat.
All right,
They can
all right,
pedal.
all right. So I got to ask before we go 7:15. We've been on 15 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Truth Seeker. My guests are Joe Visconti. He's an award-winning producer and director, Emmy award-winning, and also Matthew O'Brien, the Republican town chair from Coventry, and Matthew's a financial advisor. Now, if you'd like to call this show, it's 7:45 p.m. approximately. You can call. The number is 860-238-7518. Wow, losing my eyes. There it is. So it's live tonight.
Repeat that number one more time.
860-238-7518. Call if you'd like to talk to one of us tonight. And the other thing I'd like to say is Connecticut is known as the Constitution State. It's on our license plates. This has become not the Constitution State anymore. It is the tax and spend state. I mean, I want to ask Matthew, can you tell me, since the governor put forth his budget and his State of the State address, what has been the Republican response? And just not saying no, but what is their alternative plan?
Yeah,
I know they don't have the votes to do anything, but what do they say? Is it cut spending? Is it? What do they say?
We know that there are cuts that can definitely be made. The proposals that have sort of been put forward, I heard Representative Claridis at the Transportation Committee this afternoon, and she, poked a little bit of fun at the committee and said, "Hey, we have these other plans. Have you looked at them?" And she was kind of berated, by the Democrats on the panel.
Berated?
Saying,
Why? Did she ask a question?
Just saying that we didn't even know about your proposals. It's never it's never been brought over to us. So it's almost like they're not paying attention. They're purposefully blocking out any other ideas that might come across the table.
Who, the Democrats or the Republicans?
Yeah, the Democrats.
Okay.
Here's something interesting. Tom Scott, he ran for governor. He did the Tea Party rally years ago against income tax. He was on the radio the other day, and he said that he found over $1 billion that he could cut. I testified at the Capitol last year. We, in a group, a financial group, had found over $1.4 billion. Low-hanging fruit, even Mayor Boughton from Danbury had $1.3 billion. This is low-hanging fruit that could immediately come off. It's not coming off. Okay, so out of the gate, you have over $1 billion. And what will happen is if people start to realize that their taxes are going down and they don't feel any pain. This is important, David. They won't feel pain because they don't know where that $1 billion goes. You aren't going to feel the pain in services you don't get. Matt won't feel it. His people in Coventry won't feel it. So the Democrats fear that if you start cutting things that you can't see, you won't feel the pain and you'll start to like cuts. They don't want us to experience. We won't experience it. We'll say taxes are lower. What they cut?
Going up.
We don't know. We don't know what they cut. So the reality is they've been giving money away hand over fist to not-for-profit groups. They're giving money away to towns in something where not-for-profits own buildings, and it's called a pilot. And what we have is, if this was a tax base, was a skyscraper 40 stories high, year after year they've built this tax base like a skyscraper. They don't want to take a floor down and another floor down. They're going to continue to build budgets up more and more. And the cost of living increases that we aren't getting, most people don't get in Connecticut, are automatically, as you know, built into unions, and they never could lose. They can't be fired. They can't lose.
Automatic
They're
increases.
always making money. They're the protected class. So they become the boogeyman because we are suffering as a state. And
when they shouldn't have to be.
And the Democrats really believe that they can continue to do what they want. My feeling is Ned Lamont will never be able to take the heat of what we did to Dan Malloy politically.
Okay.
I don't believe he'll be able to take that heat.
So the rally that we're talking about, that the Libertarians, the Independents, and Republicans and Democrats can come to, we the people, is, want to say when it is?
April 13th.
April 13th. It's a
Saturday.
Saturday.
And it's at 10 o'clock in the morning
Okay.
in Hartford, the state capitol, North Steps.
Capitol Steps.
Free parking on the streets wherever you can find it. It's everywhere downtown Hartford.
Okay.
You won't get a ticket.
And here's the radio ad that's going to be playing.
Governor Lamont deceived voters last year, stating he was against tolling cars. Now he wants car tolls. Lying for votes is un-American, unacceptable, and just wrong. If you can't afford to pay $1,000 a year for highway tolls, please join the No Toll Rally at Connecticut State Capitol on Saturday, April 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. For more information about the No Toll Rally, please visit lpct.org. This message was paid for and approved by the Libertarian Party of Connecticut. Jesse Berwinski, Treasurer.
Yep.
Okay, the clip is ready. You also have a television ad that's going to be...
Yeah,
okay.
I think they have it in your studio.
All right, Chris, you play the ad that's going to be on TV.
If they can play it.
Governor Lamont deceived voters last year, stating he was against tolling cars. Now he wants car tolls. Lying for votes is un-American, unacceptable, and just wrong. If you can't afford to pay $1,000 a year for highway tolls, please join the No Toll Rally at the Connecticut State Capitol on Saturday, April 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Street parking is free. For more information about the No Toll Rally, please visit www.lpct.org. This message was paid for and approved by the Libertarian Party of Connecticut. Jesse Berwinski, Treasurer.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, behind us here is the Founding Fathers. Now, do you think that the Founding Fathers would stand for tax after tax after tax, and without the people actually voting on it? Yes, we have a representative democracy, but our representatives have gone loco. Loco means crazy. And we have crazy people running this town of Winsted also, who are proposing a 10% increase in education and a 1 mil increase with all the raises that they have given. We have a Democrat mayor and a socialist town manager. A socialist town manager, I say again, who believes that you don't follow the charter, you just take bids without having it put in the newspaper, and you just override that, and let's do away with bidding. Okay, so we need 2 police cars in Winsted, so we'll pay $80,000 approximately, but we won't have anybody bid on it, and we got somebody who's connected here who knows where we're getting it from, the 2 cop cars. So I'm against that kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. That's what's going on in Winsted. That's what goes on in the state of Connecticut. They paid how much money for this study for the tolls? 10 million? What was it?
There's been so many studies.
Yeah, there was 10 million.
10 million for the
10
tolls.
million at one point.
So $10 million for the tolls. Thank you, Democrats.
By the way, the Federal Department of Transportation spokesperson said a few weeks ago, this is novel. What the Republicans are, what the state of Connecticut is trying to do with tolls everywhere.
Right.
This is untested in America.
You know what?
In America. This is something new.
Our good president, President Donald J. Trump, okay, says that, the fake news and the Democrats are on a witch hunt. Absolutely. We got a lot of brooms and witches up at the Capitol.
I'm glad you brought that up because
and they kill the babies just like Herod did in Jerusalem, just like in Bethlehem, and just like the Egyptian Pharaoh tried to kill Moses before he was born. All of the firstborn killed, and that's what they're doing, and they're doing it genocide to the black race. Okay, and then they have the audacity to call our president a racist, which he's not. And by the way, Donald Trump, before he was married, he dated a black woman. If
Sure, yep.
You brought something
so
up.
These people are crazy.
You brought something up about Trump is important. Like him, hate him, whatever you think about him, he is standing and doing what he promised running for office.
Yeah, that's what he said he was
Beyond
going to do.
all the
Keeping
other
your
chatter,
Build the wall.
he's going to do, and he has been doing the things.
I can't wait
Well, I want to get to this.
to see Hillary in prison,
Ned
because
Lamont.
that's coming.
Yeah.
Ned Lamont. This is so important. Everyone's missing it. Everybody in America is missing with all the confusion. Ned Lamont deceived and he stole your vote. If you voted for him, he stole your vote. Forget what he lied about. He stole your vote. He promised one thing. What does that do? It's basically like cheating on your spouse. At what point do we believe him? Now, Malloy had done that for years. Weicker did that with the income tax.
Right.
And these are big things. And so at what point, this is what this rally is about. If you're going to run for office, here's why I'm really doing it. If you're going to run for office and you don't know what the state of the economy is, and he knows, and Ned Lamont knew, and you promise over and over again, and then you get elected and you just think, this is important. He's not a prick, excuse my French, like Malloy. He's more howdy-doody, and he's trying to slick us out like howdy-doody, kind of quiet, weak guy. I didn't really lie. He's worse than Malloy. He's evil. Someone knows what he's doing. He thinks he can just pull the wool over our eyes.
It's even worse than Malloy.
And he's worse than Malloy, okay? And he's just starting. This is out of the gate with 2 months. He's just been sworn into office in January. We can't lose sight of the fact that a republic is under siege by liars who steal votes. Never mind steal a ballot in New Haven or Bridgeport. He's stealing your vote by deceiving you on the things he says he stands for.
What we have going on is a whole bunch of taxation without proper representation. And they're probably going to let it slide, like Matthew said earlier, to have their Pontius Pilate wash their hands of it so that they don't have to vote on it and be held accountable.
Today that died.
Oh, it did?
That didn't come through. The Transportation Authority is not working. They've got months to go. They're all going to be voting on this, the House and the Senate. That came out of committee about an hour ago. So at this particular point, they're going to grapple with it. What they're probably going to try to do is have some kind of squirmy half measure, and maybe at the end of the day, we'll only get what they promised. Well, I mean, if they can build those stanchions in their mind, I think where we want to push them back to build those toll booths are only for truckers. What's to say they can't just ramp them up for cars in 5 years? Right. But we have time to take the state over.
All right. Can we play that clip again there, Megan or Chris? I'd appreciate it if we could play that clip. It's only how many minutes long?
Stating he was against tolling cars. Now he wants car tolls. Lying for votes is un-American, unacceptable, and just wrong. If you can't afford to pay $1,000 a year for highway tolls, please join the No Toll Rally at the Connecticut State Capitol on Saturday, April 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Street parking is free. For more information about the No Toll Rally, please visit www.lpct.org. This message was paid for and approved by the Libertarian Party of Connecticut. Jesse Berwinski, Treasurer.
Lying for votes.
Yep.
That's the message. You lied for votes. Right. Never mind what you lied about. You lied for votes. He can't take the heat. He doesn't have the stomach. Lamont does not have the stomach to take 4 years of the heat because he won't be able to run for office again if we stick with this the way we did with Malloy.
So come to this rally on
April 13th. Please come. Get in your car and come.
At the state capitol.
We have the
10
ability.
a.m.
We have the ability
10 a.m.
to turn enough Democrats to kill the tolls. It's in play right now, folks. I'm here to tell you on the ground. It's in play. You're not wasting your time. Don't give up. Don't run. Don't go to a game with your kids. Come down to the rally. Don't go to the beach if it's warm.
Also, I'd like to urge everyone to contact your legislators,
Yes.
your state senators, and your state representatives. And once you get done with them, just get the list off the line, off online, and call the rest of the state reps and state senators.
Just tell them you can't afford it. You'll have to move. This is important. If they get this passed, they're saying $1,000 a year for the average person. Within 5 or 6 or 7 years, there'll be $2,000. This will be a utility. You'll have to have a transponder on all your cars. You'll have to pay for them. And when you go, otherwise they'll mail you the bill, and then you start getting late fees because you don't get the bill. So you have to tie it to your credit or debit card. And before you know it, it's another utility like MDC or your water supply or your gas bill, your phone bill, your internet at your home. This will be a utility. This is what they're after. They want to make it another stand-alone utility where they can incrementally creep up every year a little more, and you won't know it because you're plugged in. It's like your water bill at home. Oh, geez, I must have used a little more, and you just pay it.
Okay, folks.
This is going to be the issue that pushes people over the edge.
Yes.
This is the one.
Okay.
You know?
Well, we hope. And we hope that you can make it on Saturday, April 13th at the state capitol at 10 a.m. We're going to take a brief 3-minute break in the middle of the show. And we'll be back, and if we can play that second song on that tape that's in there, I appreciate it. And we're going to take a break. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
Have you stopped reaching, no longer seeking greater things? Have you forgotten you have a father listening? Oh, he tells the sun when to rise, gives the wind its breath, swings a door wide open and moves in the moment you least expect. Don't you give up on a miracle. You gotta speak to the impossible. Oh, you gotta pray till your breakthrough breaks through the ceiling. Keep on believing. Don't you give up. How many answers pass us by? You know it takes faith to step on the waves when you're terrified. So when you're backed in a corner and can't wait any longer, don't you give up on a miracle. You gotta speak to the impossible. Oh, you gotta pray till your breakthrough breaks through the ceiling. Keep on believing. Don't you give up. Don't you give up on a miracle. Feels like the prayers and the words you have spoken, they go unnoticed like drops in the ocean. Just beyond the veil of your vision, your mountains are moving, moving on. Remember the works his hands have done, where you once were and how far you come. Don't you give up on a miracle. You gotta speak to the impossible. Oh, you gotta pray till your breakthrough breaks through the ceiling. Keep on believing. Don't you give up on a miracle. You gotta speak to the impossible. You gotta speak and believe it. Pray till your breakthrough breaks through the ceiling. Keep on believing. Don't you give up. Don't you give up on a miracle. Pray till your breakthrough breaks through the ceiling. Keep on believing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Truth Seeker. My name is David G. Lapointe, and I'm here live on March
20th.
20th. Yeah, 20th. Wow.
It's already the 20th.
It's passing. It was a beautiful day today, and we had a great St. Patrick's Day last week, and also we're preparing for the major rally for the Libertarian Party, the Independent Party, the Republican Party, and the Democrats, who are against the tolls. If you're against more taxes, if you're against more and more spending, show up on April 13th.
13th.
What
At
time?
the state capitol, 10 o'clock in the morning. And if you have any means at all, the Libertarian Party has really reached out and stepped up. They're a small
They have,
party,
yep.
but they really stepped up and they're putting money in for everybody. The
For radio ads?
For radio ads
TV?
statewide. No, social media and radio, which statewide continuously. So if you'd like to donate, you can donate. It's legal for me to solicit here for them. I'm not a member of the party, but I'm working with them. Libertarian Party of Connecticut. It's lptc.org. And
LPCT, yep.
LPCT, Libertarian Party of Connecticut.org. Give them $5-10 if you can, because what we're doing is we're going to saturate the state with drive time radio ads to come to the rally.
Nobody's doing this.
And really, no one's
Nobody's
doing it.
doing it.
This show, Truth Seeker, tonight is going to be re-aired Friday and then on Saturday. So you'll be able to watch this on Friday night at 9 o'clock, and then on 10 p.m. on Saturday. We're also going to be getting it out to other cable public access stations in the eastern part of the state where Matt O'Brien comes from. He's the Republican town chair from Coventry. And I just want to say that you guys know, according to the National Taxpayers Union in Washington, D.C., in Connecticut, it takes taxpayers, families, up until May 21st to pay your local taxes on your cars, on your homes, on your businesses. So it takes that amount of income to pay, the average.
Takes you 5 months of the year.
Correct.
Just to pay the government before you can start paying for your family,
Right.
for your family's needs.
And then you have state taxes on top of federal taxes.
Right.
And now a toll tax and gas tax and all that stuff.
It's like we're indentured servants.
Right. And we have the founding fathers here behind us. And this is what the revolution was fought for. Connecticut was known as what?
Until 1959, Connecticut was legally known as the provision state because we supplied, for the Revolutionary War, we supplied everything.
The provision.
Provision. And it was an act of the General Assembly that turned it into the Constitution state. It never was the Constitution state. Even though the Constitution came from here, it wasn't the name we had legally. It was used. But I like to say something also that people don't realize because things are hidden. Taxes are hidden in fees. There's still $5 billion of untaxed services and products in Connecticut. And the Democrats have a 20-year plan. No, they've had this. I've said this. I've been in politics 16 years now.
20-year plan.
20-year plan to. They know every year. He's doing it right now, Lamont, where they can start putting taxes on things,
haircuts,
on food, on anything that wasn't taxed.
So what year are we on now? Like 11?
Well, they've been doing this for. Well,
we've got to be part of the way through.
They still have 5%.
It's like communism, socialism.
What's important is that's $5 billion today. But once they get it all, maybe another 15 years from now, then and even now they can creep up on the percentage of the tax.
Well, what I
Let's say it's
love-
oil heating and it's 6%. They can creep up to 6.7. They can choose.
You won't
and
even
pick,
feel it.
and you won't feel so. Little by little, this is almost like catching poison ivy. The first day you feel a little itchy,
Yep.
and then all of a sudden you start to notice something a few days later, and all of a sudden it breaks out here and it breaks out there, and every time you touch anywhere and rub, you got it everywhere, and you're full blown. And this is what they're doing over time. And it's basically,
Very
David,
effectively.
it's basically to feed the government union,
Right.
because you have the government union protected class and the welfare protected class. 500,000 union homes, teachers, public works. I'm not going to knock the workers, but it's just the plans they've given them that are bulletproof, gold-plated, and they're dinosaurs in the private sector. They're dinosaurs in the private sector.
50,000 state
500,000.
employees.
No, 500,000 families.
Right, but 50,000 state employees. There's 52,000 retired state employees still on the dole. And you have the legislature, and the governor and all the executive
And then you have all your
officers.
teachers are not state employees.
Right.
They
State
get
teachers
they
that
get
are on
pensions.
retirement
people.
and state.
Then you have the welfare class, which are all dependent. God bless them. I was just on a project in Hartford, in a bad area, for 3 months, and these people are they can't survive. The money, don't understand this. The welfare
it's
money
survival.
doesn't,
Yeah.
doesn't trickle down.
So
but-
what they're doing is they're indoctrinating through the school system, painting the Democrats as the ones that are for the people,
Right.
when we know that
Well-
the party of Abraham Lincoln was the one who
We're-
freed the slaves,
but-
and
That's true.
the party of the Republicans during the 1960s, who were the Republicans who gave us the Civil Rights Act. The Democrats didn't give it to us. Lyndon Johnson put it through because it was a Kennedy idea, but
That's right,
they didn't
yeah.
have the Democratic votes. They needed all
But-
the
but-
Republicans.
Took
But if
them
you-
a few votes to get it through. Too.
Yeah.
if you look at it objectively,
And then they have the audacity. They have the audacity to say that our president and the Republicans are racist. Totally the opposite. The Democratic Party, ladies and gentlemen, was the party of the Ku Klux Klan, was the party for slavery. If you look in history and Google it, Wikipedia it, the Democratic Party was the party of slavery.
David, I want to take you to biology
And
class.
Jim Crow.
The,
And
sta-
Jim Crow,
the
right.
state of Connecticut. Now, I'm not going to say government workers and welfare class people are parasitic, because they're not. The welfare class is trying to survive, but it's $3 billion a year. Okay? The government unions in Connecticut, the government unions are working. Listen, they work for the money. It's us that gave them these plans, and over 40 years. But they have been a drain on business or on income, which has become parasitic. But parasites, if you remember from biology, are beings that live off of something living. But because our state economically is dying, this activity is becoming saprophytic. A saprophyte, if you remember from biology, is a being that lives off a dead organism. So we're becoming
a good image.
the saprophytic
a good
activity
description.
from overpayment, gold-plated bulletproof plans, teacher tenure, never could lose your job no matter what.
So what we have is teachers who are retired, who's the mayor of Winston, and on the Board of Selectmen, retired teachers who control the Democratic Party, who run Winston. And we're losing people. We're losing students. They want a 10% increase because everybody's getting fat raises and everybody's getting good benefits. And we have a good superintendent of schools who came in and said, cut, cut, cut. She hasn't had an increase in the school budget, but we have a school that's autonomous from the school board. That is the Gilbert School, one of 3 entities in the state of Connecticut. It's an animal
Completely
that's
autonomous.
unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
they want 10%, and they have Chinese communist students in there who now the Chinese are even putting less students into the school.
You can find a million examples to get angry at, but if you're objective and don't care about the partisanship, I mentioned the unions and the welfare class, because if you had a booming economy and your businesses were booming and people were getting raises in the private sector,
then
nobody
could do
would
that.
care.
Right. Then
but we're hitting that part of the curve where that used to be good, but they didn't get cut off.
Yeah.
The regular
There was never
people
a
got
cutoff date.
their golden. Remember the insurance companies?
When are we going to Venezuela? Because that's what the state of Connecticut is turning into.
Well,
we're gonna have revolution here. There's gonna be a revolution, and it's gonna be with guns and ammo. The provision state is gonna come back.
Do you think that,
I'm telling you,
do you
it's
think
gonna
people
happen.
would take up arms before they just leave?
They're just going to leave.
I think they're just going to
They're
leave.
just gonna
Well, I'll tell you this.
It's not worth it.
Well,
There's going to be nothing
we have-
left here.
Matthew, under the state constitution, under the federal constitution, we the people rule the state, not the politicians and not the bureaucrats.
That's
you're right.
David, that's a fairy tale. They own us. They own this state. We don't own anything. We're all renters and squatters. Government
We all
union
owe
and the
a
welfare
huge
class
bill.
own this state. Period. And that's the reality. How do you take it back? You got 1 million voters registered who do not vote every cycle. 1 million. And they won't come out because, David, as you know, the Republicans will not run anyone with a fire in their belly who says the things I'm saying. Who, like Trump, said the truth. And the people said, you know what? Here's a fighter. This is true. Maybe he's not perfect, but I got to do this. And Republicans are to blame because they lay down. They try to make half measures to be nice, play nice in the sandbox, and they got run over by the Democrats. Democrats. Period. Your state is destroyed in Connecticut because of the Republican Party in Connecticut, pure and simple. And I'm a Republican. And I fight them more than the Democrats because they will not stand up.
Which
they
brings
won't
me
fight.
to my fellow Republican chairs out there. There's a lot of good people in the Republican Party. If you're like me, I've just sat through this terrible election. I don't know if anyone else was there. I didn't see too many people helping out, but there was a lot to do and not enough people to do it. And, we tried our best. I know everybody tried their best to get more people to come in, more people to do work. All hands on deck. We were screaming from the mountaintops in some of our towns, and no one came. And, that could be completely turned around like that. All we have to do, if you're in a town out there, talk to your local Republican town committee. Reach out to your chair. If you don't know who your chair is, feel free to call David, or you can email me. I'll give my email address. You need to get connected with this network, because what we're building here, especially with this rally that's coming up, we're building a coalition of people from all walks of life. It's not just one party.
Crosses party lines.
It crosses party lines. This is getting to the point now where this is such a regressive tax. This is a regressive tax. It hurts those among us least able to afford it. The people that are just trying to get to work and work for $25,000, $30,000 for the year, they're going to be giving up, if they're coming from my town of Coventry, $1,080 just to get back and forth to work. And that, of course, is not the only thing that people need to do. They need to go to the grocery store. They need to take their kids to soccer practice. You have so many things that are going to be affected. When they get to the grocery store, that gallon of milk is going to be 50 cents, 75 cents more. This hits in so many different areas, and they have no idea what's going to happen with these people that have no options left. They don't have enough money to leave. They don't see much hope left, but this tax is going to maybe put them over the edge, and that's a terrible thing.
Well, the thing is that you, the people, run this state. Joe said it, that they have taken over and they're trying to usurp your authority as a voter, as a constituent, as a citizen. So if you have anything to say about it, and you'd like to call in, the number is 860-238-7518. Call in, talk to Joe, talk to Matthew, or talk to myself.
And another thing to remember, this is important. These are a little philosophical, but all of your government and all your government employees are public servants. They're doing public service. This isn't for-profit work. They are the help. Okay? They aren't the master.
Yeah,
They're
they
the
aren't
help.
the kings.
But now they've
and they aren't
become the
queens.
master, and we regular people
Right.
have become the servants and treated like that. But there's 1
Right.
million of you out there. You know who you are. You haven't voted in years. You're even registered. You've got to come out. What will it take for you at home? You know who you are that haven't voted. And you've got to vote. Listen, if Republicans put a lousy person, I can't blame you. But if we can put strong people up, or even libertarians or the independent party in your local area, put somebody up, and you like that person, that you see a fighter, you've got to vote for him or move out of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Don't lie to yourself, because that's what's going to happen.
Okay, Chris, if we could play the tape, that clip again, so that people can see what's going on in Hartford, April 13th. It's a Saturday at 10 a.m.
Governor Lamont deceived voters last year, stating he was against tolling cars. Now he wants car tolls. Lying for votes is un-American, unacceptable, and just wrong. If you can't afford to pay $1,000 a year for highway tolls, please join the No Toll Rally at the Connecticut State Capitol on Saturday, April 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Street parking is free. For more information about the No Toll Rally, please visit www.lpct.org. This message was paid for and approved by the Libertarian Party of Connecticut. Jesse Berwinski, Treasurer.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my guests are Joseph Visconti and Matthew O'Brien. Joe is from West Hartford, and Matt is from Coventry, Connecticut, the Republican town chair. Joe, you know, who's been on this show before, ran for United States Senate against Christopher F. Murphy. And Joe?
I ran for governor, and I was also West Hartford town councilor. And tonight, you've got three parts of the state. You've got Winsted, you've got Coventry in the eastern part, and you've got West Hartford. You've got three different things. What do you guys think is the most common problem, beyond what we talked about earlier, in your local communities? Is there a difference in the problem?
Well, I got to say this, and I was going to open with that. The problem is, what I read in the Waterbury Republican paper is that there's no more public comment at selectmen meetings in Winsted. And everybody, it's smooth, and the meetings are so smooth, and nobody has any questions, maybe just a couple selectmen. But the town manager is able to do everything that he needs to get done. And they end the meeting early because it's such a...
let me jump on that.
And there's no people in the audience
we in West Hartford,
complaining or anything.
We in West Hartford had such...
So they're doing a great job.
We had such vitriolic problems with people coming up to speak prior to the council meeting on live TV that they moved in West Hartford. It was combative, so bad. They moved the comment period till the end of the meeting, 11 o'clock at night most of the time. So if you're on TV, no one's watching you because the meeting starts at 8 o'clock. So they are doing this, and even the previous mayor said, if you want freedom of speech, take out an ad in the paper or walk on the sidewalk with a sign.
Well,
that's the arrogance in West Hartford.
That's
the arrogance. So yes, they want to limit, they want to restrict, they want to censor everything.
Well, this is what the Democrats are all about. Not only were they for slavery, but in Winsted we had a Democrat mayor who was a teacher, and she said that we couldn't speak at selectmen meetings. So we had a call. We have a great Marine veteran, Jay Buttahazy, who called the ACLU? ACLU. They came on the behest of this great American Marine, a real Vietnam veteran who served in Vietnam, and he's got shrapnel and everything else. He's a wounded vet, and he's a good man, even though he's had some issues. We all do. Everyone has issues, and anyone who don't is fake, like Mr. Blumenthal.
So they were locking citizens out of public
comment here in Winsted.
Really?
And nobody, not the community lawyer, the Nader lawyer, nobody went to bat.
They just took it off the agenda?
Yeah, because it was people like Jay Buttahazy and me coming to every meeting, and
we had
our big mouth.
What's the public opinion of your town manager?
He's a socialist.
Is that common as a public opinion?
Well, yeah, he voted for Bernie Sanders. He thinks Bernie Sanders is the greatest thing since iced tea and apple pie.
Okay.
And he hates Donald Trump.
Right. And you have a Democrat council.
And we have a Democrat majority council.
Board of Ed?
Board of Ed Democrats.
Okay. Yeah, we're in a situation kind of like you.
Yeah. If you speak out, and you say common sense, you're crazy.
Of course you are. That's what
you're crazy.
That's what they're going to say.
And if you speak about God, you're unstable.
David,
you're unstable because you're talking about God. So you can't talk about God. You don't have freedom of speech in Winsted. You don't have freedom of religion. Because if you're on the sidewalk and you're holding a Trump 2020 sign, they call the police on you. And then the chief of police gets in the newspaper and says that David Lapointe was harassing voters.
They never said that to me.
Let me tell you something.
Not David.
If you're, again, I'll say this objective, you'll realize that a lot of the vitriol, a lot of the hate, a lot of the anger on the issues from God, religion, gay marriage, the whole bit, it's all of it is completely irrelevant to talk about and to fight about, but that's how they get away with taking our money, because people start getting polarized on this. They're not sub-issues. They're more important than anything, but they're able to take our wallets by the fact that we start to get angry at them taking our rights or doing horrific things, and they're able to, the financial people, the bankers, the bond salesmen, the whole bit, you're not a banker, the people that actually lend all this money, because the towns, the state, and the federal government borrow all this.
Right. We can bond for it. We can bond.
It'll be fine.
Who's getting rich off of all this chaos?
Listen, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. As you know, that's what it says in the preamble of the Declaration of Independence. So that's what we're fighting for. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Not more taxes and more spending. But we have a place called Winsted this town, Winchester, the town of Winchester, the city of Winston, that has crazy people running it at the helm. The Democrats are taxing and spending, proposing 10% increase. Stephen Sadilek, the Board of Selectmen Democrat, ex-teacher, ex-principal, who's on the pension dole and benefits for him and his family, thank God, because that was given to him by the citizens of the state of Connecticut for his due service.
David, I call that the education cartel.
Oh.
I've labeled that years ago.
Right.
The education cartel.
Well, they're saying that you just have to pay more because it's your duty. Okay? And I'm saying I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. So if you're mad as hell and you're not going to take it anymore, thank you, Joe, for being on this show.
Thanks for having me.
And thank you, Matthew, for being on Truth Seeker. Here's the clip, and we play the clip and then the music to end the show. Thank you for watching Truth Seeker. Good night.
Governor Lamont deceived voters last year, stating he was against tolling cars. Now he wants car tolls. Lying for votes is un-American, unacceptable, and just wrong. If you can't afford to pay $1,000 a year for highway tolls, please join the No Toll Rally at the Connecticut State Capitol on Saturday, April 13th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Street parking is free. For more information about the No Toll Rally, please visit www.lpct.org. This message was paid for and approved by the Libertarian Party of Connecticut. Jesse Berwinski, Treasurer.